Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It's Monday, the 6th of January. I hope you're all up. I hope you're all watching. You're alive. You're not too upset over yesterday. It's hard not to be upset over yesterday, but I hope you've all sufficiently calmed down. I don't know. Maybe you're all still absolutely fuming. But look, Standouts is a show we're going to try do every Monday after every game, just to talk about the things that stood out to you during the game or across the weekend or whatever it might be. And it's, you know, we done two shows yesterday. We done a reaction show straight after the game with Matt, Ashley and Chris, and then myself, Johnny, Keith and Emma done a show late last night. And usually the late night shows, you've had time to think, you've had time to kind of calm down. I don't think that happened last night. I think a lot of the lads were absolutely fuming. I rewatched the game last night for me sins. I don't know why I done it to myself, but there you go. But what stood out? The one thing that stood out to everybody yesterday was the situation with Trent. David Wright says some of the footage of Trent yesterday is unforgivable. Any player can have a bad day, but to not show the application and lack of desire is unforgivable as the vice captain. Sarah says feeling gutted after yesterday. I can kind of see that, and to be honest with you, a lot of this show is about getting a chance to go through all your comments, read them out, and see where a lot of people are with it. Because when the shows are going straight after the match or at 10 o'clock last night, there's four lads trying to talk at 10 o'clock last night, and getting everyone else's view in at the same time can be difficult. We read them out when we can, we put them on the screen when we can, but some of it can be difficult to do. So I'm quite happy to read out quite a lot of these if I can. Look, there's only one place to start, and it is the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation. It's I said it last night. I thought it was a horrendous performance by him. But I've watched it back, and I tried to watch it back with a bit of a, I suppose, look, forget the result of the game. Let's look at in a body language sort of way. And I'm no expert in body language. Don't get me wrong. I'm no expert in all that shit. Like I'm genuinely not. I'm an idiot watching football. But I was trying to watch it in the context of this is going from bad to worse. And is his situation affecting him? And I came away from it. I came away from it feeling a little bit sorry for him. To be fair, I really, really did. Jared Gallagher says he looks lost. Is a good way of framing it. Look, Jared, I know if I come in here and I absolutely hammer Trent, about everything, I will probably get 90% of people going, yeah, you're dead right, and 10% of people going, you're out of order. If I come in and I defend Trent to the hilt, I'm going to probably get 90% of people going, you're mental, and 10% going, yeah. Listen, I think if you look at the game yesterday, I think he starts it off poorly, and I think it just goes downhill from there. And yes, people can have bad games, and yes, were we in a position to make a change? We seen Conor Bradley come on with 10 minutes to go because Conor Bradley hadn't got much in him. We know he's been injured. We know he's only back. He obviously wasn't as fit as Ibrahim Kanate, who plays the full game. So we were kind of stuck in a bit of a conundrum there. Jarell Quansah I think should have been an option to bring him on and do something along them lines. I don't know why they could have done it, but they could have, but they didn't. They made that decision, and Trent ends up being on the pitch for the vast majority of the game. It just gets worse and worse as it goes on. But watching his facial expressions, the way he was moving or lack of moving, he looked like a person that was completely lost. He looked like a situation had caught up with him. I don't think the last 3 or 4 days or 5, 6, 7 days, wherever it might be, with the Real Madrid stuff ahead of this game had done him any favours. And I think the human side of it is that this is a guy that, is possibly making a big decision on his future. He is playing for the team that he's supported all his life. He is. But he might be someone that wants to go and try something else, and that's absolutely fine. There's plenty of people around the world that love the city they grow up in, love the town they grew up in, love the first job they ever had, but they want to go and do different things. Not better, different things. And it looked like a really big situation in his life was catching up on him inside that game yesterday. And, that's where I felt on it. Watching him during the game, fuming. Watching the game back, watching the game back, not so fuming. Watching him and thinking, this is not. It doesn't look like it's going to end well. In a playing sense for him, or in a how Liverpool fans feel towards him sort of way. Let me see if I can read some of this stuff. Gavin says the first standout should be the ground staff and people at Anfield for getting the game going yesterday. Yeah, it didn't. To be fair, I was amazed by the amount of snow around the pitch. And I know that sounds a bit of a mad thing to say, but I was a bit amazed at that. I was like, are they not clearing that? Because, and look, don't get me wrong, years and years ago you'd see snow like literally beyond the sideline and that's it. But in this day and age, you'd be thinking that all has to go from a health and safety point of view and all sorts of stuff. Thought that'd have to go. The pitch looked slow, but it was going to. It was covered in snow, and they get it off and they try to heat it up. But when there's rain constantly falling on it, it's going to look slow. It did, but the game went ahead, and I suppose the pitch is the easy part. It's the surroundings of the ground. It's the roads leading up to the ground. It's all these things for. It's all about supporter safety. At the end of the day, the pitch won't be an issue. But there you go. Let me see. Sarah says, yeah, feeling good. Let me see. Start Bradley against Forest, says Chris. I don't know. Like, and I'm not looking for people to come in here and go, yeah, you're right, Gav. But did anybody else think, looking at it, there was more to this than his performance? Did anybody else think that? Maybe people that say I'm being too easy on him. I don't think I am. Megan says if Trent put that performance in against Barcelona, he'd be chased out the door. This is the thing as well, Megan, and I fully agree with you. If he puts that performance in against the Barcelona or whoever, and Atletico Madrid, if he was playing for Real Madrid, he'd be chased out the door. But like, if you put in that performance for Liverpool, we keep putting Real Madrid up on this big huge high pedestal, and yeah, they've won all these European Cups, and everyone say they're the biggest club in the world, but this is Liverpool. This is no fucking two-bob team he's playing for. It's just not. So putting that sort of performances, you're absolutely within your rights to hammer the guy, and more people on the pitch as well, by the way. But I'm just asking, did it look like, it was just a bit of a situation that looked like everything was kind of on top of him as that game went on? Things were in his mind as that game went on. That's where I am. That's where I kind of am on it. Gary Max says, LFC fans are starting to smell themselves a little. We have no God-given right to win every game. No matter how well we're playing, freak results happen. Calm down, folks. It's not the end of the world. No, it's not the end of the world. I think we were extremely poor. I said it last night on the show. I think we gave Manchester United everything they wanted, and we gave them nothing of what they didn't want. And I think we played into their hands. I think we rushed what we were doing. I think we dragged ourselves out of shape and allowed them to overload on one side, and that was their way home. And it continued to be their way home for the whole game. Their whole game continued to be their way home. Yes, it can happen, but I think you don't have any God-given right to win. You really don't. But I think if Liverpool go out there and play their game, and it just doesn't go right for them, and it's grab a goal at the other end, and these things can happen, you kind of go, yeah, but yesterday was different for me. Yesterday was Liverpool going away from everything they've done before to play an occasion, and they shouldn't have. I think if they play and they hold that ball, I think United's plan quickly goes out the window if this is our way home, because we're staying in shape, we're cutting off angles, we're pressing properly. I think we developed their game plan for them. That's my thing on it. I think we developed their game plan for them, and that goes on. And credit to them, they identify that, they work on it, they stay in the game, they defend quite well. I think there's times when they look all over the place, but they defend quite well. Some of it's a bit last ditch, but I think some of it's made to look last ditch as well, because ours is a bit frantic. I think if we take that extra pass, extra second, extra look, I think we probably score a couple more goals. But it'll go away from that. They'll be delighted with that draw. So they should be. They shouldn't have got out in the Anfield yesterday. But Gary, you're right. We're halfway through a season. We look at the positives. Those fellas on yellow cards have to get the 10 yellow cards now, not 5. That's a positive. Bradley's come back. That's a positive. Kanate's come back. That's a positive. Jota's got more minutes. That's a positive. You know, we have a couple of games coming up now where we can switch things around a little bit. That's a positive. You know, and I think let's give. I'd have some issues with what the manager done yesterday. I think that's okay to say. But let's give him credit. When he's come up against something like this in the past, i.e. Forest, they've reacted. They've reset. They've gone out and played games, including Trent Alexander-Arnold in the team, by the way, before anybody wants sweeping changes. And they've gone on big unbeaten runs. So let's hope that they can do that again, because if Liverpool go on another 10, 15 game unbeaten run, they're in a huge, huge chance. And if they win the game in hand, they're 9 points clear in this table, just over halfway through. You know, I've seen Arsenal fans going, look at their away games that we've left, and look at their away games that they've left. They've much harder away games. Yeah, look, we've all to play everyone again. You know, and yeah, we've gone to Arsenal, we've gone to United, we've gone to Spurs, we've to go to Chelsea, we've to go to City, we've Newcastle at home. You know, there's loads of games left. You can draw up whatever way you want, but overall, look, there is positives to it. Let me read some more comments. If he's not injured or playing through the pain barrier, what is it right now? Unless he wants to sign, let's just accept 20 million, get Bradley in there and sign a backup, says Jared. You see, this is the situation I'm talking about. You know, look, let me put this scenario to you. If Trent Alexander-Arnold come out, and I know he's not going to, but if Trent Alexander come out and said, it's a really difficult decision I'm trying to make. I love Liverpool Football Club. I do want to further my career and try something different. I've been here since I'm 6 years of age. I'm 26 years of age. It's 20 years. 20 years is a long time in any job, you know. And I'd love him to stay. And, you know, I think he's kind of painted himself into a corner with this. But I think if, on the human side of things, if he's just going through a really tough period of what am I meant to do here, there might be pressure from outside people, you know, people from other clubs, people from Liverpool. It might be just that he might be feeling a little bit. But let's give him some sort of chance here. Let's not just go, that's it. And you see, that's what I feared. I feared it was going to come to this. I feared it was going to come to you know, he has a bad game, get out of the fucking club. He doesn't want to play with us. His eyes are in Spain. He's bum. You know, like, and that's what I feared is coming. And I think it's going to come very quickly. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way the world works. That's for me, is how the world works. Gavin feels one thing is for sure is that Trent has no captaincy qualities in him whatsoever. Imagine him being the leader of the squad. Yeah, I think that's hard to argue with as of now. I think it is hard to argue with. I think, you know, while everyone's breaking their neck to get back yesterday, Trent is jogging back. There's no, and you can, you know, in your mind, you can have these issues, but some of them are just in your face, and you can't really argue with them. You know, you can't really argue with them. But there you go. You know, captaincy, qualities, leader. You know, I've never really seen him as a leader. I think he's a leader on what he does, what he produces, what he can produce, the extraordinary abilities he has on the football. Yesterday, he didn't show those. I think he rushed himself. But I think, let's be fair, he wasn't the only one. A lot of people rushing passes, playing him into dangerous areas, underhitting, overhitting, making the wrong decisions, holding the ball too long, not holding it long enough. There was loads went on yesterday. His just stood out because he was at the scene of a couple of crimes where it was like, are you willing to run, tackle, press, jockey a guy? And the answer to them things were no. The answer to them things was no. Nick says, and I'm with Nick. I think I'm with Nick, just reading the first sentence. He says, I'm hoping this inspires another huge run. If we can get through this unscathed, we will win the league for sure. Still remaining calm, but Trent needs to book his ideas up. That's very fair. And that's what I'm hoping for. I think we've reacted. And Liverpool as a whole over the last, probably since Klopp was arrived, and the vast majority of the times, they react really, really well to adversity. You know, the only time I don't think they did is when we just had millions of players out. You know, so many players out, and it was just so hard. But I think overall, little bumps in the road, they react quite well to. And it's up to us now to react. And I think reacting by getting a good result against Spurs, getting a good result against Accrington and Stanley, getting ourselves right, mixing the players up a little bit as we go through those couple of games, getting ourselves ready for Forest away, getting ourselves ready for Brentford away, and continuing on and getting ourselves in another run that just makes us forget this and puts it in very firmly in the rearview mirror. I think that's what we have to look for. That's what we have to go for from here. And thankfully there's a game during the week that we can get at. Gavin says, today I'm not as fuming. Trent wasn't the only one who was poor, but the focus is on him. That's what the club want. Oh, okay. If there's a contract to sign, just sign it. It is, just sign it, as you're not worth the rumoured 300k. David Wright feels he's not near worth the rumoured 300k. That's the rumoured number going around. Rod has a theory that Trent wants to go now, but was told it wasn't happening. Listen, I've said this, and Rod, this is not me shooting you down, by the way. I've said it since all these things started. I think you can make an argument with any of these three players and push them in any direction you want, and I think it can be viable. The simple reason it can be viable is because the lack of clarification from the players or the club. And I don't think we're absolutely entitled to that. I'm not going to say, we demand to know the ins and outs of Trent's contract. No, we don't. It's not really any of our business when it comes down to it. But I think the more silence there is and the more trivial stuff, and the more you can make any of these things plausible. That's where I am on it. And that's absolutely plausible what you're saying. Absolutely plausible. David Wright thinks he wants to go. You should sell him this month. And again, that's absolutely plausible. Dan J says Shawnee nailed it yesterday about his ego. Think it's outgrown the club. That's how out of hand it is. Shawnee has had an awful lot to say on Trent Alexander-Arnold in the last, it's probably 2 years now, I think. The first time I heard of him, Shawnee, was when we beat Bournemouth 9-0. It was about 3 or 4 games into the season. And I think that might be 2 seasons ago now. And Shawnee hasn't absolutely hammered him every week. Shawnee thinks he's a generational footballer. He thinks he's an outstanding footballer. Shawnee was at all of the pass he plays to Mo away at West Ham, where he fizzes one along the ground. It's like something out of the Matrix. But Shawnee's had huge issues with him for 2 years. And, people coming on last night, possibly watching for the first time, are thinking, wow, this guy's just gone in on Trent Alexander-Arnold straight off the bat. Not true. Shawnee he doesn't have an issue with his ability. He has an issue with the way he carries himself, I suppose, this kind of aura he gives off. And then coupled with the lack of, Shawnee says, the lack of application. And in fairness to him, it was hard to argue with him last night. The only argument I tried to put forward last night was maybe on a human level, and I think I'm trying to do that again today to be not sitting on the fence. I think to be kind of balanced in it, and in a balanced way, I think it's okay to say he was appalling yesterday. His effort was terrible. He got worse as the game went on, but I think it's okay to look at it and go, is there more to it than the football? Is there more to it? And I think there might be. I think it's probably fair to say there is. But again, if that's the case, someone's having a hard time, take them out of the team. Take them out of the team and say, listen, there's a lot going on at the moment. Take a week off. Go and sort it out one way or the other. And then come back. And if you're leaving now, you're leaving now. If you're leaving in the summer, we can tell everybody and we can all just get on with our jobs. Or if you're staying and we can tell everybody. But I feel this will drag on and drag on and drag on. Unless the likes of David and Rod and stuff are right. And he wants to leave in the January and that happens and the situation is put to bed. Maybe so. Let me see. Jared says, Slot delayed the decision to take Trent off to avoid this story magnifying, getting out of hand. But problem is, at the expense of team and points, this has to be sorted. A lot of people feel the same. Paul reckons the whole team, bar VVD, Mo and Maka, looked off it. I don't think Salah looked great. I thought McAllister done all right. I felt a bit, and this feels like a show where I'm feeling sorry for people. I felt a little bit sorry for Andy Robertson in the post match yesterday. I think it is his man. I think he's for the second goal. But I think he's caught surprise that gets beyond Kanate, Trent, and Van Dijk from that angle to reach Ahmed. And it's not the best finish in the world. I thought Robertson done okay rewatching it last night. Gravenberch done all right. Jones just wasn't his day. And look, what's going to happen with Jones is when he has a bad day, oh, there's the Jones we all remember, blah, 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 blah. And we haven't said that in ages and ages. But once he's being tarred with that brush now. And once he has a bad game, it's like I told you about Coach Jones. Coach Jones being excellent. When he's being asked, he did not have a good game yesterday. But he wasn't alone. He wasn't alone. Diaz didn't have a good game. Nunes didn't have a good game when he came on. Jota was okay. Gakpo was okay. It was just, to be fair, we've talked all season about this team and how they look after each other, cover for each other, set up each other, all that sort of thing. They didn't do any of that yesterday. And once that starts to fall down, it falls down and team looks poor, players look poor. That's just the way it is. I think when this team needs to play well for this whole thing to work. There's very rare games where I thought this season this team is being poor, but this guy is being excellent, and we've won the game. There's very few of them. It is a team game, and I know that sounds very obvious, but it is a team game. It's not like great teams of the past, like where you go, they've been all right, but that fella is just unreal. A Messi or a Ronaldo at Madrid. They are just unreal, or even a Suarez at Liverpool. Liverpool always play quite well when Suarez played quite well, that sort of way. But there you go. Let me see. Okay. Brian Almeida. Oh, interesting. And here's another way. He said, I watched the game, but synced it to the LFC TV audio. And after 30 minutes, John Aldridge was already calling for Trent to be subbed at halftime. He said his head was gone. And yeah, I think it was more. I think, yeah, 100%. I'm kind of with 100% on this. If you get a chance to go back and watch the game, just watch him, watch his face. Forget his body language. People say, the way he walks around. Trent's always kind of doing that kind of walk and thing. And I know it's hard to ignore the application. Just watch his face. Just watch it and see what you think. Kenny says Slot recognises the importance of keeping possession and patiently waiting for the right moment to attack. Yesterday was Klopp ball. I couldn't agree more with you. It felt so hurried, a mad rush to get forward, and instead of honestly keeping the ball, moving it around and making Manchester United move and exploit their lack of application at times, we went and said, let's make this mad, and they just had to get in the way and then see where they went. I couldn't agree more with you, Kenny. I could not agree more with you. Let me see. Antio says, top of the morning, Gav, and the Reds, top of the morning to you. Happy kids are back in school today. Great stuff. Say it quietly, but great stuff. 16 days they were off. Let me see. Gavin says, more on Trent. This is going to be... I had got more things to talk about. I was going to talk about the tempo and adjusting to what we're trying to do, but we're kind of covering that as we go, and I think the point Kenny made probably brought that in. But listen, this is about you, what stood out for you, and throw them in there. If Trent wants to go now, tell Madrid to put in a fee that's not insulting to a club like Liverpool. He deserves to show the club a bit more respect than saying 20 million is a good fee. If he wants to go now, yeah, you get a fee, but I think 20 million is a fair fee. Truthfully. He's 6 months left on his deal. If there was a year left on his deal, I'd say, yeah, probably a bit more, but the two options here, if he's to leave the club, the two options he has to leave the club is go now for a fee or sign a deal right now, and he goes in June for nothing. I think 20 million is probably fair, and that's the realism of it. Realistically, 20 million is a fair fee for a guy that can sign a piece of paper tomorrow to make him be a free agent in 6 months, and without doubt, he can survive the whatever 5 months left now. 5.5 months left now that he has. That's just it, And we all think, oh no, it'll be a nightmare. It wouldn't. It genuinely wouldn't. It mightn't be as rosy as it is or has been, but any player can survive 6 months for a football club and go knowing where he's going, and he's happy that he's doing it. I think 20 minutes probably fair. Paul says, non-Trent Alexander-Arnold related, but Chiesa's agent has come out and said he's going nowhere in the window. Yeah, the Trent or the Chiesa stuff is a bit mad. He's on the bench there, yes, he doesn't come on. I simply don't know. Is the answer to that? I could pretend to know, and I'm not going to. Why would I? If you're pretending to know what's going on with Chiesa, fair play to you. My only take on it is that I didn't expect to see an awful lot of him pre-Christmas. Because he comes on, he's a couple of games, you can see he's unfit. We try, I believe we try put him through a proper Liverpool sort of pre-season, because he played very little football from the Euros onwards. But I'd be hoping to see a little bit more of him moving forward, especially considering Darwin Núñez's form. And, he'll have to step into the Darwin Núñez kind of slot in the squad, considering Darwin Núñez is suspended for the next game. I'd hope to see him against Spurs in Accrington, and let's see what level he's at, because he's a good player. But good players not being available or being on the bench and not really getting on, after a little bit of time, starts to scream like he might be a good player, but he might just suit what we're doing. It might be in a bad move, but we'll have to wait and see. I think it's a bit early, but yeah, you'd probably want to see a bit of him between now and the end of the season. Let me see. No Konate for Spurs from Slot post-match. No injury, just managing his return from injury. That's fair. That's absolutely fine. No problem. Just play Jarell Quansah and end up. Or if you want to play Van Dijk, play him. Do something. I don't know. But my idea would be to play Jarell Quansah in both these games, Wednesday and the weekend. I'm saying Wednesday, and I always get them wrong. Spurs and Accrington, play Jarell Quansah twice. Play Virgil van Dijk against Spurs and play Konate against Accrington. Gives your centre halves recovery in Konate, a rest in Van Dijk, and we go from there. That's what I think he might do. We can all forgive a poor performance as Bolo. It was just the fact it was against United and the lack of effort by Trent. Yeah, there's no argument to that. Big away games coming up. Forest, Brighton, Bournemouth, City. This is Gavin. Yep, big games. We can win all of them. We can win all of them. We could drop points in them, but we can win all of them. I think, we don't have a great record away at Brighton. Overall, I don't think. Forest, I think we won there last year. We did. Bournemouth, we've a decent run away at. And City aren't the City that we always remember them. I hope Spurs turn up next week in the derby. You see, what we're going to get to. It's all leading thing. Arsenal next three league games are Spurs, Villa, and Wolves away. Spurs and Villa at home, I think. Yeah, Wolves away. Their only attackers are Havertz, Jesus, Trossard, and Martinelli. Look, everyone's going to drop points. Liverpool have a buffer. Liverpool just need to look after themselves. Go and play our games. Don't get dragged into this Arsenal stuff. Right? Arsenal are under all the pressure. And you can see it in them. They're under all the pressure to catch Liverpool. Liverpool should be in that position. It should be us. With City aren't the same. It should be Arsenal. That's the pressure they're under. Liverpool are under a pressure that they've given themselves a great buffer. Go and win it. We've had a little setback yesterday, but we can still go and win it. Just go and win our games, put this aside, and we'll see the reaction from Liverpool. We'll see the reaction from Liverpool over the next couple of games. Let me see. Gavin says, let United now deal with the narrative of them coming back after a draw with their biggest rivals. They're still muck. We made them look better. We'll stay battling for fourth, and they'll be battling for 14th. They're not a good side. But listen, they're not a good side, right? But at the end of the day, in this league, if you don't do what you're meant to do and you get away from what you're trying to do, it only benefits other teams. And every team in this league can hurt you. Look at Ipswich. They went to beat Chelsea. They've got a draw away at Fulham. Everyone's been banging on about Fulham. Fulham have been great. They've gone to Chelsea and won. They were excellent against Liverpool. They got a draw against Arsenal. They've done this, they've done that. Ipswich have got a draw to Fulham after beating Chelsea. So that should be a wake up call to everyone. Anyone in this league can hurt you. Anyone. If you go away from what you're doing. Fulham probably took Ipswich too lightly. Chelsea probably took Ipswich too lightly. What happens? They both drop points to them. Chelsea probably thought they had Fulham beaten a couple of weeks ago. What did he do? Stepped off, allowed Fulham onto them. What happened? They got beaten. This isn't about going out and going, we're Liverpool, we're better than them, we win. That's not how it works. Never has, never will. Liverpool took their eye off the ball yesterday and need to firmly put it back on. Put their eyes back on the prize here. Really should. HY Scouser says, morning all, going to the game on Saturday and spending the weekend in Liverpool. Fantastic. Any recommendations on where to go or eat? Listen, we've about 5 minutes left here. People fill in where you'd like them to go and drink and eat. There's so many good places in town to eat and drink. Oh, I'm going to give you the lazy thing to do, and that's to have a good wander around. Just have a good wander around. There's not many pubs that aren't welcoming. There's good food. There's good place to eat. If you go up Bold Street, there's plenty to eat up there. Just walk up and down there. Loads from all over the world, cuisine from all over the world, and really good stuff as well. Guinness, Shenanigans, Pokes, and there's one more around the corner from Pokes. The dispensary around the corner from Pokes. Good Guinness if you like that. And eating wise, Bold Street, up and down Bold Street, away you go. But if anyone has anything else they want to throw in for HY Scouser, yeah, go ahead. Fill your boots for the last couple of minutes. Let me see. I'm trying to get away from 4 years ago versus Bournemouth, Gav, but the incident you are remembering is where Shawnee gets angry over Trent's celebration against Newcastle. No, I'm not. The one thing I'm talking about is where he bends a free kick in against Bournemouth in a 9-0 win. I think it's the season before last. And he puts his hands out and runs across towards the crowd. And that's when I know Shawnee gets a night. So there you go. Kenny feels that Trent is probably outgrown playing at right back, but he's not a 6 or an 8. He's not a midfielder. He's just not a midfielder. Unless somebody absolutely, unless he goes out and proves me wrong massively, he's not a midfielder. Let me see. Project 5am says, Trent was almost in tears before Mo took that free kick. Something wasn't right with him yesterday. I agree. The standout yesterday is a few things around him. That's the standout. And, you know, I was half hoping to come onto this show and people go, well, what stood out for me was actually this and what's that. But I knew it was going to be Trent. But let's have a grown-up conversation about it. You know, I don't want to come on here and go, scream, blah, 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 you know, and get on your TikTok and fucking all this. Have a grown-up conversation about it. I think the grown-up conversation about it is that it's okay to, you know, have a go at a guy for the performance. But I think to be adult enough to look and go, there might be a bit more there. And the evidence around them would say that there's more going on there. There you go. Let me see. Limpa Monkey wants us to sign Zubimendi in January. I did read something on him yesterday from what's the guy's name that used to do the Spanish football? Probably still does, but they're not on the telly anymore. Gillan Balagay. He has said that with regards to Zubimendi, Man City are looking at Zubimendi. Zubimendi, according to Gillan Balagay, was all but done with Liverpool. Everything was sorted, and Zubimendi made the personal choice to then not go. But Gillan Balagay feels that the player is ready to move now, but he doesn't feel Liverpool will come back and have a look at Zubimendi, so Man City may be an option. So there you go. We will be doing a show later on tonight, and we will be touching on all the weekends kind of football and a bit of transfer stuff thrown in. You are going to get more shows this month on the Talkin Kop than you've ever gotten any month. That's fairly certain. We're looking at 2 shows a day for nearly all of the days, and possibly more than that. We'll see how it goes. Let me see. Antio says, Gav, did you see the links to Johnny Cardoso that surfaced last night? But that sounds like someone out of Karate Kid. I don't even know who Johnny Cardoso is, right? And that's my ignorance, maybe. I don't follow enough football. I don't follow enough transfer stuff. But I don't know who he is. Someone explain. Let me see. Chris Black's daughter isn't back until tomorrow in school. Sick. My kids were marched out the door this morning. I love them. I absolutely love them. But they were marched out this morning and both went to school without any problems. So there we go. Let me get down here to see if anyone's recommended places in Liverpool for HY Scouser to go. Frank feels that Trent really should come out and say what he wants. This is effectively causing frustration with players. You could see that with Virgil lambasting him throughout the game. Yeah, Virgil was having a meltdown. Was having a fucking meltdown. But again, he's fuming. But then I can see in Virgil's face, he's looking on. I really want to say something to him, but I know he's fucking not in the right place. So I think it was in Virgil's face as well. You know. Chris says we could do with Jota getting up to speed. He still looks way off it. Yeah, and to be fair, I don't think them games do any favours to fellas that you're looking to bring back in and get fit and get back into the run of things, because that's alien to what we've been doing. It's so alien. The only advantage for Jota Diaz is that he ran around a lot, and maybe that helps him. But getting back into the swing of things, what we were doing yesterday was alien to what we should be really doing. Let me see. Gavin Walsh feels we shouldn't worry about Arsenal. They don't have the balls or the mentality to catch us. We're in the box seat still, is what I think you say. Virgil van Dijk denies Trent's performance against United was adversely affected by ongoing Real Madrid speculation. Virgil van Dijk also believes United were being disrespected in the build of the fixture at Anfield. Maybe so. Yeah. Peter Luga has agreed a permanent transfer from Liverpool to former club Fluminense, subject to international clearance. Let me see. People should be on here telling people where to go. In Liverpool, Lobster Pot, the best takeaway in Liverpool. Shiraz, the best brekkie in Liverpool. I'm not sure on the Lobster Pot thing. But Shiraz on Ranelagh Street, opposite the Adelphi Hotel, which you do not go near under any circumstances. Yes, perfect. Fair play. At least somebody is trying to. Duke Street Market has mighty rubs, says Brian O'Sullivan. Lobster Pot is a good show, says Fast Authorities. Donald meat and chips with sweet chili sauce. Mickey Fryer says we missed Szoboszlai. Should have played Jota from the start. And time to bring in Bradley, who's being good at right back. Andrew says, I could have sworn it was Trent's Rocket versus Newcastle. No, it's 100% against Bournemouth. I know it is. I really, really know it is. Let me see. Tony reckons that Alonso will be at Madrid next year, and he reckons Zubamendi ends up there. Sorry, the other team mentioned in that Gillan Balagay thing was, the Barcelona, but they don't have the money. They can't even register the players they have. You see Barcelona linked with players, unbelievable. Of course, I struggle with Gillan Balagay, because every time I think of Gillan Balagay, I think of one of the greatest stories of all time, that made up by Brenzy, formerly of this podcast, about Gillan Balagay and Prali and M&M's. I can't go any further than that because I can't remember any more of it, but I remember it being extremely funny. Brian O'Sullivan says, my daughter won't be starting school in 2027. You're nearly there, buddy. You're nearly there. Frank says, just go into the city centre, you'll find everything there. I'm with you. Walk around. Genuinely walk around. Take a walk from, do you know what I would suggest? Get a bus or a taxi down to Albert Dock, right? Albert Dock is lovely to walk around, right? It really is. It's nice. Just don't go near the Pump House pub. Walk around it, come out onto the thing, turn right, go down towards the Baltic, go up from the Baltic, bring you back around then towards Liverpool 1. You can walk through Liverpool 1, walk through all the streets, head up towards Bold Street, Seal Street, up towards pubs like the Monroe, the Red Lion, Pogues. You can get, and then all around there you can get food. It's a walking city. It's a walking city, and you'll just come across great stuff. The Vines across the Adelphi. The Vines is not bad across the Adelphi, in fairness. Let me see. Zubamendi will come up. But listen, we are gonna come back at 10 o'clock tonight. We are going to do a little bit of transfer stuff in that show. We're going to do a little bit of reaction to the weekend's football. Because we like to do a weekend rewind, but we're going to throw some transfer stuff in there as well, because I think there's a couple of teams crying out for different things, and Liverpool might be crying out for things. So I want you to join me at 10 o'clock tonight. I don't know who'll be with me. I'll definitely be there. And we'll talk about all of that. Thanks a million for watching the standouts. I know it was dominated by Trent. I get that. But as these weeks go on, it mightn't be dominated by one player. It might be dominated by 4 or 5 things that happen in the game. But I'm happy if one player comes out and scores a hat-trick every week to talk about them for a half an hour. No issue. No issue whatsoever if Liverpool are getting hat-tricks and we're talking about them every Monday morning. We'll see you all at 10. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Become a member if you like, because some of these shows will become member shows or members only kind of chat, stuff like that. So become a member if you want. Loads of people are getting on board and doing that. And yeah, it's all good. Who's on the pod tonight, Cassis Paul? I haven't a clue, but I haven't a clue. I'll try to get Kev, because Kev was snowed in the weekend, so he hasn't had a chance to say what he wants. And yeah, we'll see where we go. We don't know where we're going to be, but at 10 o'clock we'll be here. We don't know who'll be on, but there will definitely be people here at 10 p.m. to chat more Liverpool, more Premier League, a little bit of transfers, and we go from there. And we'll try to bring on something tomorrow morning then as we go along. Talk to you in a bit. Have a good day. Over and out.